Welcome to the Social Living Podcast. I'm your host today, Julian Green. I also have my co-host with me, Jamal Lawrence. Jam, how we doing this week?
Good man. I feel like I'm finally recovered from the weekend. I don't know if it's age, yeah. I don't know if it's age or what, but those 2 days took out of me. I spoke to a few people like on Monday evening. Everyone was just
Mash up.
finished, like mash up. Everyone was tired.
Yeah. No, the wedding was good though. It was a good wedding. Again, it was good to see family. Um, it was a lot. It was two events. It was an Asian wedding, so that might give people an indication of how much people was kind of coming through. So it was a lot of people. It was a fusion. It was Asian and black, so it was like um, it was a good to see like a mix of kind of both cultures kind of coming together. So there was a Mendy, then there was a civil. There was a lot. There was kids. Any advice to anyone who's going to be bringing their kids to a wedding?
Just expect the unexpected. Have no expectations. I see Gary Vee speaking about this all the time. Have no expectations. Is right. You don't know what they're gonna do. Quick story about my little boy. So Julian was with me, but he was planning to walk down the aisle with the broom because the bride and groom were gonna jump the broom after they made it official. And we had a bit of period of time before his moment, his time to shine, where he walked down the aisle. And he was fine, he was calm, he had the broom, he was chilling. I thought, yeah, this could go well. And then something clicked at about the 11th minute of him waiting. He said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And he started running wild, wild around the waiting area. So it comes to his time to shine now. And he's there. His legs have gone. His arms. He's fallen flat. Everyone's there laughing at him. He wanted to just escape the room. It was just, it was a fun time, and it's what parenthood is about. You gotta expect the unexpected with kids. Right?
Yeah, he was just being himself. He was just being a kid, and it was just
Yeah.
like it was obviously from my view. I couldn't see everything, but I see it's like I see the VAR. I saw the highlight reels come
Yeah.
back, and it was like, wow, is that what happened? It was like,
Mm.
oh, that's what took so long. Like,
Yeah.
no, it was funny, man. But a blessing at the same time, man. He can look back at this, and we can show this
Mm.
back to him in 18 years' time or
Yeah.
whatever, and he's gonna be like, "What? Oh, Uncle Julian, why are you doing this again in front of my girlfriend?" Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it would be. It was funny, man. But it was good, man. Both our sons walked down the aisle as well, which was it was good. And then even seeing them in their Asian outfits as well, I thought that was quite fitting as well. So
Mm.
yeah, man, that's what happened to. I guess we shared the same weeks to a certain extent, innit? We shared the same
Mm.
weekend. So yeah, man, big up to it was my sister's wedding. So yeah, big them up and congratulations to them. And yeah, man. But that wasn't the only big thing that happened this weekend, man. Sunday night. Should we how should we intro this one? The big slap. The
Yeah,
wolf
the
slap.
big slap, the wolf slap. It was weird because I woke. Obviously, we had the weekend, and I was tired, and I woke up to breaking news: Will Smith's everywhere. The memes have already dropped, and I was like, "What's happened? Where's this
Yeah,
come from? Was this legit? Like, is this real?"
yeah.
Then obviously, I watched the video on Sky News, and I was like, "Right, he's actually gone up and slapped Chris Rock in the face."
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to make of it at first, but it was crazy. It wasn't expecting it at all, and
No.
I didn't know what to make of it.
The thing is, I don't. The thing is, I'm not really interested in the Oscars like that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And um, it brought it to my attention. You know what brought it to my attention as well was like I think I mentioned this to you. It was on Talksport. I listened to Talksport just in the car because sometimes there's nothing else to listen to. If LBC's out, I won't lie. Do you know what I mean? I will listen to Talksport, and it was on Talksport, and then they tried to reel it in and say it was sport related because Will Smith featured in the film King Richard, which was about tennis, about the Williams sisters, Venus and Serena. And I was just like, wow, that's a big reach. They just
Mm.
wanted to just get more views and have their opinion on the situation, just like everybody else on social media.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we could dive into this. Like, first, was it right? Was it wrong?
I don't know. I think looking back on it now, I think him addressing the situation was right. But I don't know if him slapping him was the right thing to do. And again, heat of the moment, emotions were flying. I'm just thinking of how I would have handled it. And I know we've spoken about this before, but still thinking that if that was me and my partner, I think I definitely would have addressed it there and then. But I don't know if I'd add the slap to it. But then it's interesting. It was interesting to hear your point of view because that kind of contrasts what I was saying.
Yeah. So I think my point of view is more like I think the situation, what muddies the water, I think, is that it's like there's two situations that are overlapping here. So there's like your real life, and then there's like the showbiz. So in my head, the showbiz way it wasn't the right way to handle it, because you have to consider PR, you have to consider live television, and you have to consider all these different things, right? But if it was real life, like obviously I can't determine the disrespect that Jada might have felt or the way Will might have felt. But if I felt as disrespected, if I felt disrespected enough that I felt like I needed to slap somebody, that could be a possibility. And in real life, you can get away with that to a certain extent. However, I'm not saying like, yeah, I'm gonna slap people. I'm not trying to be rubbed that way. But I guess what I'm trying to say is sometimes in a world of like alpha male, there are times when you need to claw back. You need to earn, not is it earn respect, but you need to demand the respect, especially in a situation where you feel like you've been disrespected. And I feel like in the real world, he's probably done that. In the real world, him and Jada could go to a comedy show, and the comedian is not going to say nothing. Do you see what I'm saying? And I feel like in that case, that's where you might say where it's worked. But I do also understand on the other side of where you might not want to choose violence as an answer. So I guess when we first had this conversation, I listened to so many other people's opinions, and now it's kind of like affected my opinion a little bit, because someone goes, "Ah, he's only slapped Chris Rock because Chris Rock is a smaller frame than him." So then now I'm like, "Ooh, if it was The Rock, would he still
Yeah.
go up to this person and slap
Yeah,
him?" I'm like,
it's good though. It's a good way to think because there's those maybe unconscious thoughts that was going through Will's head at the time. He sized up his option. It's a bit like predatorial, like he
"Yeah,
sized up his opponent essentially and thought, yeah, I'm man enough. I'm the bigger man here. I can do this and handle myself if anything was to come of it, or not expect Chris to respond. And yeah, that definitely comes into account when he might not have noticed it at the time, but that's definitely a thought process as he's walking up or decided to get up and walk to the stage.
mm. Yeah," and whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, because you could look at that and think, like, if you think like a lion, for example, some hyenas might be coming up and think they can just talk rubbish to you, but then you have to show the hyena that I will smack you, I will eat you, or whatever. But let's say a tiger did that to an elephant, he might not have to do it the same way. He's gonna have to get all the rest of his tigers, and then or the lions or whatever, and then we're gonna have to plan our attack differently. So in that case, he's done what he needed to do to demand the respect that he wanted, and he was able to achieve that. And I don't want us to. I'm not trying to glorify any violence, but I think that in the world that we're in at the moment, we make it seem as it's like nothing, that violence doesn't solve anything, and all these different things where it's going to be clear that no one is gonna say a joke directly in front of Will and Jada without knowing that there might be any consequences. Do you know what I mean? And that's the respect he probably wants.
You feel like he could have got that respect without the slap though? Like if he was to raise his voice and maybe shut that joke down, do you feel like I feel like maybe he could have gained that respect, but also maybe kept his like integrity at the same time. And he would have came out of the situation better rather than maybe for the worse now in terms of his image.
But that's the showbiz side, isn't it? Because in real world, you might not even have to worry about that if you were to defend your wife in any other that kind of circumstance. You know, so in the showbiz way, yeah, for sure, he could have handled this better. He could have just done it backstage, but now it was like on the for the world to see. So I feel like it will have it's gonna have that ripple effect. Do you know what I mean? So where if he just handled it like backstage, people will still try him and keep trying. Do you know what I mean? But we're now with the world to see, it's like, yeah, probably not going to try this, but it's going to have it might have a negative effect on his personal image. So you know, which is a shame. I don't know if you saw, like, you know, I think it was ZZ Mills was on the morning show, the Good Morning Show or something like that, and she was talking about it, and I think someone mentioned that, look, Will Smith is my son's you know, idol, and now I'm afraid that my son's going to think it's okay to go up to people and slap people. And I don't know, that annoys me a little bit, because sometimes we paint the pictures of some of our idols that they're just perfect.
Yeah, like they're not human almost.
Yeah, as if they're not human. And for most of my role models anyway, they've made mistakes, and it's how you kind of come back from those mistakes as well. So he's made the mistake in terms of maybe the approach that he used to kind of demand the respect that he deserves, but he doesn't, I'm sure he's not sorry for demanding the respect. You know, he wants that respect. His wife and him both deserve it. But then the flip side of everything is, as a comedian, is this where the world is going? I know you brought this up, where the world is just too sensitive to a certain extent, right? So then what does that mean? Because does Chris Rock know about, you know, the alopecia situation with Jada Pinkett? Maybe, maybe not. And jokes are intentional but innocent at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it has that thin line, but then it's also a risk you're gonna take, and that's the risk you will take in real life. You know, I've seen, like, I don't know, back in the day they used to have, like, on MTV, Yo Mama jokes and stuff. You have rap battles. There are things where it could hit someone on the nerves. It's like they forget they're in a rap battle and they want to just fight. Do you know what I mean? That happens. So that's the same thing that's gonna happen in comedy, you know. And it's just a shame that it's happened to Chris Rock. Do I think he deserves a slap? No, it's Chris Rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know,
it's good. It's good that they highlight. It's good that conversation about the idol, that woman's son, idolizing Will Smith as if he was faultless. But it's good to see, like, a person of that stature act out like that, because, like, it's like I said, like, they're kind of made to believe that they can't have any faults and they are faultless beings, and they're, like you said, perfect. But these are just general human beings who have emotions and then do act on emotion, and it's just good to see, because we're getting into a stage within life where people can't feel their feelings and act upon it. Like, everything's become as if, like, the filter, there's, like, we now have a filter to place on ourselves that kind of dilutes our natural feelings to kind of please everyone else, where it's not the case. And we don't act like that, so we shouldn't expect someone as big as Will Smith to kind of control it. And I know what he's done probably wasn't right, but it was just good to see someone like that act on his emotions, whether it was right or wrong, but just to see him being human for 30 seconds.
Do you reckon? So is it human to get up on stage, go up, walk like how he walked? Because it was almost like he was in an act, and then the slap, he had the it was proper, like the meme. Like,
it was. Yeah, I could. Again, that's another part of it, because whether it is legit or if it was stage, and At first, I thought this is staged, this isn't real. And then as I've watched the video more and seen Will's reaction, I think maybe this was legit. And then I also think this guy's an actor. Like, this guy's a world-class actor. He could easily just like stage this, and Chris Rock could be in on it. And I've seen something like Chris Rock's tour. He's got a tour going on in the next few months, and his sales have skyrocketed and stuff like that. And yeah, you never know. You never. It's hard to find a true story.
We also got to remember that Will Smith and Jada were both boycotting the Oscars not too long ago.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they were boycotting the Oscars. Not to, you guys need to double check that, but I'm pretty sure they were boycotting the Oscars because there wasn't enough like black representation and things like this happening around the Oscars. And I'm pretty certain Will and Jada were in that bracket. So for them to win an Oscar, it's almost like you were boycotting this. So like, do you really care about this? Do you know what I mean? And then you know, there could have been you know, Chris Rock, that might have been a prearranged joke. Like, I couldn't put it past them. We know that. Just like everything you said, they're both, all three of them are actors. All three of them are actors, right? So it could happen. It could happen. So I'm not ruling that out. To me, it was just the way he walked up like it was wrestling.
Yeah.
I just got slapped out of, you know, from Will Smith or whatever. Damn, wow. And it's just like, you can't act that out. Do you know what I mean? The slap still could have been real as well. And it's just like one of those moments. And then, you know, now everyone's supporting Chris Rock.
Yeah.
So he knows, man. He knows, because they've worked together a few times as well. Like, so he knows, man.
I do love it when these things happen there, because you see the greatness of social media, and you expect like Munya. I always forget his last name.
Oh wow,
yeah,
Munya Chihuahua, yeah.
Oh, like, I wait on his responses, and he's normally there within 12 hours. He's there. And obviously, the memes were creeping up. People were like, "Oh, it's been an hour since this has happened. Where's Munya? It's been 2 hours. Where's Munya?"
Like, countdown. And man, the first thing is he was on holiday as well, and I saw his thing, and I was just like, he still managed to get this done. I thought it was epic. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Munya, I don't know if we can even get it up here, man. Like, we got the video now, Jam. We can do extra stuff. Big shout out to Munya. Let's have a look. Bear with me.
Just the quickness of his thought process, and he must have a team around him because for one guy to turn that around within a few hours and think of a concept and a script and creatively visuals that kind of match up to it is it's unmatched, man. It's unmatched.
It is unmatched. Let's I think I got it here, so I'm gonna quickly share the screen. Share screen. Share. Green tab, Munya. So big shout out to Munya. So there was this video right here. If you haven't seen it, just mocking it. Oh, sound is off.
Get jiggy with it. The punchline had me triggered a bit. Let's go. Now this is a story all about how I rock Chris so hard the rock raised your brow. I mean, my wife in the game. You mention her name, now you can't talk straight. Liam Payne. A nice evening turned raucous. I robot, I was following orders.
The fact you did this on holiday,
like I got calendars in my house and none of them say August. Thought everybody hate Chris, that's how the song go. Now they're blaming us, Lupita and Nyong'o. It left a bad taste, I should have had a breath mint. But I went on stage and gave Chris some fresh prints. Here comes Man in Black.
It's this double slap as well. That's just
Don't take my Oscar back, take my Oscar back. Can't think of what's offenders.
Unmatched, man.
Unmatched, man. Big shout out to Munya for that one. That was a good one. Yeah. He don't miss. He's yet to miss. He's yet to miss. I just look forward to seeing all the content that he comes out afterwards as well, because we know there's going to be more moments. There's going to be some more moments that come off the back of this, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And you know, I feel like everyone wins, isn't it? Like Will Smith's page is probably booming. You know, everyone's looking back on certain things or whatever. Fresh Prince did just come out, like, you know.
I'm just waiting for the red table talk, because you know that's got views already. Like they're gonna sit down, Will, Jada. They might even get Chris Rock there, and they're gonna talk it out. And there we go. They're all happy. Everyone's happy. Money, everyone's pockets are lined.
Yeah, they all win. They talk about it. They were vulnerable. There's healing. We're gonna heal from this.
Yeah, there's tears.
Jada's put out the trailer basically. You know, I'm here for the healing. You know, and
Yeah.
I'm sure we all are here to heal too and watch it and comment. But yeah, man. But yeah, man. Let's dive into today's topic. We will be discussing how to plan and strategize for your business's Instagram. So what we're going to do, this one's going to be a very unique one today because we have just launched our own Instagram account for the Social Living Podcast. So we're going to take you through what it is that we would do to plan it, market it, and I guess strategize to try and yield as much followers as much as possible and some more listeners and things like that. So, you know, it's part of our leveling up, and we're just documenting that journey for us. So, yeah, man. So you want me to start with the social media marketing plan?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Jump into it. So I'm going to do the classic, share my screen and then say, can you see my screen? 2 seconds. All right. Can you see my screen?
All good. We're there.
Oh, good. Yes, we are. So this one, again, sponsored by #Living Agency. This is something that I use very much so with, I guess, some of my clients, especially new clients, someone who may not have the social media experience at all. So they've never brought their business online. They've never used social media on a personal level. And if they have, it's very minimal, you know, so they don't use like hashtags or anything like that. It's just like food or just, you know, just simple things. So I use this very much to try and get an idea of where my client or whoever it is that I'm talking to get an idea of where they're trying to take their brand or where their business, and then I try and push them in the right direction using social media. But mainly this one's more geared towards Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, this is what we use.
Yeah,
so vision, go on.
I was gonna say, like, it's an important step, and a lot of people skip this step when creating an account. They kind of go into it without any kind of direction, and then it's easy to get lost in the sauce, really, because Instagram and social can be a confusing place if you don't have any direction to guide yourself through it. So this kind of sets out a path, a sense of direction that you can tailor your content towards. Your caption writing kind of comes from like a plan like this. It just helps push your account in a direction that you want to go in, so that later down the line you know what you're working towards. Because without a goal, you're aimlessly posting content without a real purpose. So yeah, definitely helps, and it's like an important step for most people.
No, agreed. So yeah, should we? I don't actually have my key because I normally print this out and write it out. Because I like to do this in person. It's like part of my consultation process. So I'm not gonna actually write inside of the boxes or anything like that. But we just discuss it. So we can discuss like vision. So our vision for the podcast, specifically the podcast, is only about the Social Living Podcast. What would our vision of success be?
I guess for me anyway, is, I don't want to compare, but I know we use Stephen a lot, and he's become our reference point. But yeah, I guess our end goal is Stephen Bartlett and the Diary of a CEO, not in terms of the concept, but in terms of the level of content he's producing. So our vision of success might be being able to post 4 times a week. That includes in really engaging content that goes over reels, stories, ads, memes, whatever it might be, and we'll touch on those type of content types and content pillars later in the pod. But for me, it's level of success on the social platform would be being able to post constantly and consistently, maybe 4-5 times a week. So just we've got those different top points.
Go on.
That'd be one for us. And then I think it's always good to have a not to be obsessed over followers, but having a follower target always helps. I know often when I was agency side, we always had that as a main KPI, and it was always a number that was so unachievable. But I guess within a year's time, it would be good to hit even just the 1K mark. But to try and be optimistic, I want to say maybe we go with 2K. So I think it's achievable if we can get up and running, and we're looking to build a team. We've got obviously our cousin that's jumping on board in terms of like video editing, and we can kind of set ourselves that target.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'll also add on to that as well. So not only do we want to make sure that we're posting consistently, we also want to yield other opportunities on here as well. So what I would consider successful, similar to Diary of a CEO, being the blueprint that we like, is generating enough viewership to also yield different partnership and ad opportunities. So there are loads of businesses that we use on a regular basis, and we're doing our best to try and get the attention of these people. But once we get the regular viewership that is, I guess, that gives us the power, then we can talk to people like Canva, people things that we use on a daily basis. So there's different brands out there that we are definitely trying to get in front of at the moment, and potentially get some good partnerships involved, because we use them on a regular basis, and I can swear by certain products. So essentially, we want to use the podcast as like a influencer as well, to help suggest and recommend certain products that we actually stand by, believe in, and match our morals and values. So that would also be in addition to the content creation part of our success, is also the advertising and partnership side of our success as well. So yeah, I'm always a fan of having 3 goals. So I don't know if you have a third one that you might want to add in there. But yeah, the ad opportunities is one. But I also want to make sure that we give a voice to people who don't have voices at the moment. And that would just that's important. Like, we all love talking to people who I guess we all know, but I'm a big fan of learning, and sometimes there are voices out there that are doing massive and big things within their sectors, but because they might not have the social media following, you might not know their story. So I just want to I want that to be kind of like our unique angle, where we bring those stories to light.
And for me, and you might agree as well, just like you said, just seeing different types of people within this space and having a platform to talk about their own stories. Obviously, we've had like the likes of Bim and Tanika, Vanessa jump on a podcast and talk about their stories. And we can, just to elevate that as well, just being brand side as well. I know so many people that have worked with amazing brands. And before this call, we spoke about a guy that's just gone to a good brand from the company I work for. And it would be good to hear those stories, because growing up, I didn't think that job role was something that existed. I just didn't think that could be a job that people could aspire to do. So just getting more eyes and more awareness on the different types of jobs that this type of industry can create.
Yeah, and that's important. Like, there's so many different stories to tell, and we also have to remember that we want to inspire as much people as possible. Like, so we want people to know that there are different options. So just like what Jamel was saying just then, where he didn't know this job existed, through this platform that we're creating, we want people to know that you can, finish uni, not know what you're doing, and still end up as like brand manager at Superdry, or you could not go uni and still end up working in finance and earning 4 or 5 figures, or you could end up, studying a HR degree and be a baker, or do you know what I mean? Like it's just different options in life, and you don't know. There's no like one way to get to your goal, and there's no one way to determine success. So yeah, man, we got so many people that we want to talk to, and we're lining it up, and we just want to do that on a more frequent basis, and that ties into the first goal of posting content on a regular basis, and that will be on all channels. And then it's having those partnerships for brands to kind of showcase their, I guess, their products in front of ours, but it has to match up with our brand, with our values and our morals. And then the third piece being just continuing to consistently bring a voice of I guess a voice of diversity. Is that a way of saying it, or is that over complex, I guess?
No, it makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, just like a diverse voice of success just to the platform. So those are our 3 goals. So those you can remember. So that's what our vision of success would look like. So moving on, the marketing goal. So here is, what would you like to achieve by marketing your business on social media? You may have many marketing goals, but start with the most important one. As we're a podcast, I think the most important one is to gain as much listeners to the podcast as possible. So once you get that, then you can start persuading, the different touch points like you mentioned. And that's where you want to be able to convert some of those listeners into subscribers. And later down the line we might have memberships or whatever, but it's that first listen, that's what we want. And that could be through, you can listen through Instagram, Apple Music, this could be Amazon, Google Podcasts, wherever we are distributed. Find that listener and then get them to subscribe. So that's like a 2-part marketing goal. That's the main marketing goal for me.
I think that should be the main marketing goal for anyone jumping on, not anyone, any brand jumping on social media, is to build that community. I think that should be the first thing in any brand's mind, is community first, product second, is creating a lifestyle, almost a family through the brand, rather than thinking I'm doing this to make a quick buck or doing this to make a sale. It's got to be about building that community, creating authentic interest in what you're actually doing, which will help that conversion. It will make converting a customer easier if you're able to get them to buy into the brand. So yeah, definitely an important part for anyone starting a brand, or for business owners looking at something like this and thinking what is their first thought into for their end goal.
Yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, number 1, building a community. It's funny because my business partner hates it, because I always say this in every consultation. I'm like, so the most important thing is building your community. And he's like, you love this word community, just say followers or whatever. But it's like what you said, it's important, man. Having that community, they're gonna give you feedback. You're gonna have some ride or dies in there. That's why I like to put it. I first kind of came across this kind of concept or grasped it was with Nipsey Hussle. So Nipsey Hussle, he spoke about his like diehard followers and having like different levels of followers of his brand. And like, you're gonna have those people that consider themselves, I guess, number 1 fan. I'm number 1 Nipsey Hussle fan, and they're willing to part way with whatever product he comes out with. They're ready to spend. Do you know what I mean? But then you're gonna have others who like, I just like his music, so they're not even gonna purchase anything, but he's still making money from them, from just the streams. and then there will be, others who are just like, I don't really listen to his music too tough, but I love his quotes, or I want to go see what his store is like because I'm into tech or whatever. So it's like, it's all these different touch points of followers that are following him for all these different reasons. And it's making sure that you're able to give each of those, because each one of those followers have a certain demand, and those demands are different. So if we working in normal business sense, supply and demand, you got the demand here, we need to supply each one of those, and then that's how you have a bigger community. So that was where I kind of got it from. It wasn't even university or anything like that. Like, I was just grabbing that concept and thinking that makes so much sense to me, and that's why he could sell a CD for $100, but that same CD is free on Spotify, and he's making money from both. Do you know what I mean? So it's having that kind of concept in mind. So I always try to push that as well. So yeah.
And then just to add within that as well, I think an important step to building that community is understanding who you're targeting and who your target audience, target consumer is. So I remember when I started my brand, I think you might have actually mentioned it to me, like, who you looking to target? And I was like, I'm just targeting everyone. Like, anyone that's got money, I'm targeting them. And it's not the way to think. And looking back on it, it sounds so naive, but I can imagine most people do think like that. But understanding who you're looking to target will help across the board in terms of your branding, your packaging, the products you create, the tone of voice for your social media marketing platforms. When it comes to advertising, being able to create ads that target a certain demographic in a certain location, or that are a certain religion, or whatever that interest might be, it just helps, again, direct your vision and what you're trying to do with the brand or the business you're looking to market. Again, another important step, because like I said before, I just thought, I'm going to target everyone. I'm just creating content. I'm not really thinking about who I'm looking to target. But subconsciously, you might be thinking, I'm just going to make cool content. But your cool content might be 18 to 25-year-olds who listen to rap music. That might be the audience you're looking to target, but without thinking about it, you just think you're just making content, but you're making content with that vision in mind. But knowing who that person is will just help tailor what you do going forward.
Yeah, man, 100%. Like, in my previous role in marketing, this is something that it was so important. So it's understanding a certain audience, and then also educating yourself as a brand on how you're going to tailor your messaging to that consumer. So there's no surprise, like, it's just an example, just so everyone can kind of have a clearer picture. Like, if we were to look at gambling ads, a lot of gambling ads, or some of them anyway, not all of them, but a lot of them, they would focus on like laddie type messaging. So it's all about lads in the bar, accumulators, what's your ACCA, So they know that they're targeting that age demographic, which might be from 18 to up to 35, because they're very much like that. Do you know what I mean? And then if they're targeting a more older generation, it might be a little bit different. It might be Grand National horses. It might be, do you know what I mean? But when it comes to like the football, who scored next, cheeky £2 bet, whatever, it's very laddie. So the messaging is very clear who it is that they're trying to target. And I think a lot of brands, especially brands that start in their early stages, they say everyone's my audience. But you don't have a message that just hits everyone, so you might start off that way, but then as soon as you make as soon as people make their first purchases, you need to understand who they are, and then that's your testing ground. Why did you purchase, and what was it that made you purchase? I need to tailor my messaging to get more people that are like you, and then you can go into that, and then you might find another type of audience that purchased. Why did they purchase? Let's find out. Let's get the feedback, and let's tailor the marketing towards that, and that's what's going to help your business grow. And if you don't have that focal point, you're going to be like moving left and right all the time. You're just trying to figure out what sticks, and you're not gonna have that clear focus that you perfectly know what triggers your audience to purchase. Do you know what I mean? I think people like ASOS got it down to a T. Reese Rabara, like Manir Devar, they probably got it down to a T. They know exactly who they're targeting and they're getting it, and that's why these Facebook ads can work. Like, people are making millions and millions of pounds on Facebook ads just to get the messaging right. You know what I mean? If you ain't getting that right, you're gonna fail.
Yeah, and I think it's important that you say that about Reese Rabara and his story, because he puts a lot of importance behind the content he creates and the tone of voice. And when I say tone of voice, people might think, what's that? But it's I guess the tone of your caption writing when it comes on social. It might be your bio, it might be the way you write stories, just your language that you kind of show off through social media. It's important. You might think, oh, it's just a caption, but that caption's got to be written a certain way that gets your target audience hooked onto what it might be. People see the asset first, so it might be the tone of voice within the asset or the creative direction within the asset that gets people hooked on. But they're like different touch points that is kind of needed to perfect to get your customers in and gain new customers and keep your current customers engaged.
Yeah, 100%. You're basically kind of touching on it, but not quite touching it. But it's like the funnel. It's understanding, where in the funnel is this user, and so you can hit them with the right ad. Do you know what I mean? So you, like, some people, is like the asset that you're talking about could be just like a brand awareness asset, and then we'll see, if they watch it, how long did they watch it? If they watch more than a certain amount of seconds, then yeah, we can pass them on to this, because we know after this, they might purchase, or they might add to basket, or they might go to the website. It's understanding all these different things. And this is where social media marketing and advertising gets a little bit more complex than just on the surface that I guess is just common sense, basic knowledge. This is when you kind of get into the science of what social media marketing is and advertising is, so yeah, let's bring it back to the social media marketing plan. So yeah, I guess our main marketing goal is the most important one is building that community, and that's our sole focus for now. I think we can put others in there, but I think for now that's the main goal, and once we achieve that, then we can go on to the next one, I think. So I'm happy to leave it as building a community if you are.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So then third one is your products as service. So pick the product or service that you want to promote to help achieve your marketing goal. It should be either be your bestseller or an offering that is popular with different customer groups. So this is where I guess when it comes to your product or your service, what is it that is going to entice your audience to purchase? And then let's go with that. So it's just like what I was saying before, where knowing your audience a little bit better. So what is that thing that leads people to purchase or buy? Obviously, in our case, we're not promoting, like, I guess our product is the podcast itself, right? We're trying to promote our stories and our discussions and our points of views and opinions that we have. That's basically the surface, that the I guess what's the word? That's the service that people like the most, if you know what I mean. So if we look back into our analytics, I could confidently say that the podcast episode that's got the most views are our interviews. Our interviews get the most views. So that's something that we decided, you know what, that's what we need to focus on a little bit more. So this year we've come in and we tried to get more people to do some of the interviews and share their stories. People like these types of stories. So that would be the first thing that we want to promote. So when we're promoting our conversations and everything like that, we want to promote the ones that have the interviews. So we got two in the bag. We got three technically in the bag. And those are the things that we might want to like focus on when it comes to the content that we're going to be posting on social media, because we believe that those are going to entice more people to listen to the podcast, not only because of what we're saying, but it's also because of what the other person is saying on the interviewee, the interviewee saying, and what they're saying, and they also bring an audience with you as well. So there's people who know them who's going to want to listen to what they have to say, because they might not have heard what they've had to say before, or they've never featured on a podcast or YouTube ever before. So that will be the number one product in our it's like that's the content group, if you get what I mean, as a service. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you happy with that?
Yeah, you hit it on the head there.
All right, cool. And then now, what I like to do as well is list the different types of customers that may be interested in your chosen product or service, right? So this is just the different types of people. So this is where we tie it into our target audience, right? So I can confidently say our target audience right now is both male and female, mainly between the ages of 18 and I'll probably say 30. It's not quite 35 yet, but it's 30. Mainly because it's those who are looking at maybe changing their current circumstances, or interested in marketing, or interested in a career in marketing. So it's people that are normally, what's the word? Looking at a change in life, but they might already started their career, but not sure quite where to go next. So it's almost like people like ourselves, if you know what I mean. So they want to hear a story of where they might want to go. They might want to hear stories of how to be a mum, work full time, blah blah blah. These different types of things, because they're trying to change their current situation. So what would you call that person if we were to give it an audience group?
Early stages within a career, maybe, if we're talking about people looking to maybe change jobs or interested in the marketing space. Yeah, what you mentioned could be a few different people.
So people, I guess, I don't know what to call it. It's like we should have this nailed down already to a certain extent, but we don't. Think of a name. I'll think of a name. So I'm going to say the first customer. I don't want to. Is it too broad to say male and female between the ages of 18 and 30? That might be too broad.
I think that helps tailor though what the next few customers can be. And that might be like the overarching customer, and then people that fall within those categories can come underneath.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna say people who are either students and I guess students and graduated. What would you call them? Newly graduates. Students and graduates. That's one. Yeah, students and graduates. School leavers.
Yeah.
So that's two.
I guess that comes under students as well. School leavers.
If they left school, then they're not really a student. I was thinking like, I'm thinking like people who are like probably going to go into like apprenticeships or work full time and things like that. I'm thinking that, but I don't know what you would call that. So I'm going to call it school leavers for now. I'm sure there's people listening. It's like it's this, but I can't remember the name. So school leavers, students, and graduates, and then what would you call it?
I say people already in the marketing space or in the early stages of their marketing career.
Yeah, early career. Yeah, people. What would you? What's give it? You need to give it the fluff.
Yeah, that's what we need right now. Early stages, beginner marketeers.
Beginner marketeers. I like that. Beginner marketeers or early marketeers.
Yeah.
Early marketeers. Let's go with that. Early marketeers. So people who work within the marketing space, who have probably been in that space for like less than 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the three types of people. So why do those people like they like what we offer? So students and graduates like what we offer because we're able to offer them different avenues that they could potentially go down that they might choose for themselves. That is also the same for early school leavers as well, but they might be looking for different like inspiration. Maybe tips. So tips around being full-time as a self-employed person. This could be a variety of different things. And then early marketeers will come to our platform as well to also hear the stories, but they will mainly want to hear the different tips that we might have that might help and enhance their career. They can take away and apply it to their own job or their next step in their career. So that's the main thing. So
We got there.
yeah, you happy there?
Yeah.
we got there in the end. And then forwarding on to the marketing plan, you have the marketing strategy. So here is basically achieving your marketing goal by selecting the best way to market your product or service to people who are actually interested in it. Good marketing plans include multiple ways to reach the customer. But for now, let's pick one that is going to pay off that you want. We pick one at a time, and then we obviously dedicate the resources that we have to that one commitment. So here we have like different options here, right? So you got social media ads, social media networking, discount codes and offers, and social reviews. I think our main one is social networking is what I call it. So producing content, creating that community, and giving as much content as we can that we can dedicate on a weekly basis to that audience, and so we can get to that 2K stage. So let's monitor it. We can document this. Let's see how long it will take us to get to 2K by doing this on an organic level. I'm pushing. I'm confident that we can do that within a 3 to 4 month basis, but who knows? It could happen before. So in this case, we'll be choosing social media networking. What's the payoff? You create a community of customers, which is correct. And the commitment might be one-time setup with hourly or daily updates. This is creating an account for your business on popular social media sites, which is exactly what we're going to be doing. It'll be Instagram, it'll be TikTok. We already have the YouTube up already. So it could be Pinterest, Discord, all these different things, and that's going to help us build our community. So yeah, all in agreement with that.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah,
and all of this will kind of I guess pave the way or help with the next step of the pod, which is I guess mapping out what a plan looks like and how you achieve these goals.
Yeah, 100%. So in terms of action steps, should we determine what we need to take to bring the strategy to life? So obviously first step is creating the account. So if you haven't done so already, I'm gonna plug it. Might as well plug it right now. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and follow us on Instagram. We go by the social living podcast. It's not active just yet. I'm going to share my screen and then I'm going to ask you guys if you saw my screen. Can you see my screen? I don't. All right, 1 second. It says stop screen share. Damn it. Sorry, this is technical. We need a stage manager. Boom. All right, so this is what our Instagram looks like. So if you haven't done it, if you are listening on audio, so it is the social living podcast, no spaces, no underscores, no dots. The social living podcast, all one word. follow us on Instagram. We currently have 9 followers, so I expect by the next episode we have about 30. So let's see how we get going. So yeah, this is what it looks like basically. If you can see my screen, it's just got our logo or one of our graphics on there. Tone of Voice, a social media podcast discussing the latest social media news and trends, which is presented by Jam Lawrence and myself. So we also have our personal Instagram accounts on there as well. So yeah, that's that. So going back to the social media plan, that's the first step, and we've done that. We've created it. So go ahead and follow. Back again. Shout out to troops. Step 2 or step 2.
I guess roles. I'd add then roles and responsibilities.
Okay.
So stuff that we each work on a weekly basis, and if we can get people like Isaac or my brother to help out, just creating a team that week by week we know what we're doing to help achieve these goals.
Yeah, 100%. I will, obviously we're going to go into more depth on that side of things, probably more so off camera, but the main goal is to chop down some of the long form content that we have and use that as a basis to post that up on all our different social media sites, and also plugging it also on our personal sites as well. So it's using what would you say, it's using our resources to produce short form content and promoting it across all channels. I'd say it's probably next step. And then the third and final step of the marketing strategy is, what did I put here? So for me, it's more like engaging. So it's all good posting and everything, which is fine, but we also have to continue to engage. I think that is the key thing about social media. So this could be, asking people to follow us on different, on like for Instagram, for example. So you're having a DM strategy. So we have to engage. So if anyone does follow us, you might say thank you for following. And if someone doesn't follow us, we just message them saying, "Oh, check this out," basically, and then responding to all comments and engaging with other people's posts as well. So that is going to be a joint group effort, I think.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
It takes time. Yeah, stuff like this does take time. You do need as many people involved to get somewhere with it.
Yeah. So this is going to prove our worth, I guess, as social media marketeers.
Yeah.
So you're going to see
no pressure.
none whatsoever. So we'll see. Yeah. So that's the next thing. So setting up the account. There's designating roles and responsibilities of the account to ensure that we are able to deliver on short form content and do that consistently. And then the next part is once this content is posted, is engaging with it and engaging with our audience and our target audience. And with that, that's what's going to help grow the community. So yeah. And then what I have as my 5th part of the social media plan is like selling the product or service. So like no matter what, I guess, marketing strategy that we choose, selling product or service is necessary to figure out the best way to sell your product to people interested. You have to kind of understand the messaging. And I've already kind of touched on this already before. But this is something that you'll see from each and every post that we do. You're gonna see what that call to action is. So it might be listen to the podcast. It might be follow us. So you'll keep an eye out on that. So we're not going to go over that right now. And then what we'll try to do is maybe either once every 2 weeks or once a month, we might just track the results and give you guys like a recap, or we might just use that as content. So check it out on the what's the word? Check it out on our page, and you'll see up to date, what's happening. And we'll bring it up, and we might include it in some of the podcasts as well if you're just solely a podcast listener. So yeah, I think I'm happy to leave that as that with the social media plan. We did have a content strategy plan as well that we wanted to go over, but we'll leave that for part 2. We'll leave that for episode 32, which will be how to produce a content strategy for your business. Because right now I feel like every business is a media business. If you don't realize that, see you later, you'll be behind.
Something Gary Vee has been talking about even since when I was fully onto him, which is probably like 2014. He's been speaking about the way brands view themselves. They need to start viewing themselves as media outlets, as a media business, because their brand is now digitalized, and it's about how they're perceived through campaigns, imagery, tone of voice, and all of that jazz. So like you said, content is king.
Yeah, content is king, and I think that's the case for 2022. It's probably always been king, but it's also about those creators. So when you're creating content, you are a creator as well. So there's now different avenues that you can go down to even earn money from your content. And if you slip, you probably won't notice that it's a big opportunity right now. So you got the likes of YouTube paying out, Instagram paying out, TikTok paying out. So let's make sure that you're in all these places. Even if you have a blog site that can pay out, you can have ads on your blog. Like, there's so many different avenues and ways to kind of make ends meet. Like, you need to take advantage, and content is there. Why? Everyone's on their phone. What are they consuming? Content. How do they consume content? That's, people consume content in different ways. It could be through audio. This is content right now. It could be the visual. It could be through reading articles, different things like that. And these are different things that we need to start approaching, and we're going to do that. We're also going to probably come up with some more podcasts, like shorts, so little short audios that just give like little breakdowns of little different tips and tricks and things like that, just to help different people. Sorry, that's my phone in the background. But so yeah, man, that was the social media marketing plan that we have planned for the Social Living podcast. I don't know, Jam, do you have anything else that you want to add? That I hope I'm not missed anything.
No, I think you covered everything, and I think just to emphasize what we said, like, this is an important step for any business or any brand entering social media for the first time, or if they're just considering that activity at the moment. It's good to kind of just highlight what you're looking to go after, who you're looking to go after, and a way to do it. So yeah, it's an important step, and you'll get to see phase 2 within the next episode, which is planning out the content and thinking through a strategy in terms of tone of voice and finding the right hashtags to use, the right content types, and all of that jazz.
Yeah, man. So you will see. So yeah, man, happy to wrap it up there. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you like this one. Big shout out to everyone who's listening via audio, but please do go and check this out on YouTube as well. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that jazz. We out. It's been a pleasure.
Nice.